If you're a connoisseur of dread, a true aficionado of the horrifying, then lean in close, because friends, the future of fear is not just bright, it is blindingly terrifying. We're living in an absolute golden age for horror gaming, and the nightmare is only going to get deeper. Never before have we seen such a perfect storm of innovation, ambition and pure unadulterated terror, from indie darlings pushing boundaries with psychological dread and found footage nightmares to AAA powerhouses harnessing the full might of next-gen engines for visceral, heart-stopping scares. Body horror, cosmic horror, survival, psychological thrillers, creature features, the landscape is richer, deeper and infinitely more dangerous than ever before. Developers are experimenting with new mechanics, new narratives, and new ways to crawl under your skin and stay there. So, if you're ready to embrace the darkness, to confront the unknown, and to plan your next sleepless night for the next several years, then you're in the right place. Now, let's step into the shadow. Here are 10 games that will define horror in 2025 and beyond. Dying Light: The Beast is the up-and-coming standalone entry in Techland's acclaimed zombie survival horror franchise. You play as Kyle Crane, the protagonist from the original Dying Light, who returns after 13 years of captivity and brutal experimentation. Now part human, part zombie, Crane must navigate the haunting wilderness of Castor Woods, seeking revenge against his tormentor, the Baron. With its dynamic day-night cycle, supercharger volatiles and a greater focus on gunplay than in past installments, the beast is shaping up to be pure Dying Light zombie killing mania, wrapped up in a tight 18-hour plus story. Better yet, if you're the owner of the Dying Light 2 Deluxe Edition, you'll get the beast absolutely free. Chronos: The New Dawn is an upcoming third-person survival horror game from Bloober Team, known for Layers of Fear and most recently the Silent Hill 2 remake. You step into the role of the Traveller, an operative of the mysterious collective, navigating two timelines. A devastated future after the change, a cataclysm that transformed humans into grotesque creatures called orphans. Or the 1980s Poland, the moment in history when the change began, where you must rescue key individuals to alter the course of events. Your mission is to salvage the past, to save the future, all while surviving relentless horrors. Gameplay highlights include a corpse-burning mechanic, similar to the one seen in the Resident Evil remake, which introduced us to the fearsome Crimson Head zombies. Basically, if you fail to burn bodies, enemies can merge, mutating into more dangerous forms. Combat is a mix with both melee weapons and firearms, however, ammo is scarce, forcing strategic play. There are temporal shifts, which see you using time anomalies to solve puzzles, open new paths, and manipulate the environment. The primary gameplay focus in Chronos is survival, where you'll need to scavenge for resources, manage inventory carefully, and adapt to evolving threats. This spiritual successor to Dead Space is shaping up to be a tense blend of body horror, time travel, and resource-driven survival. Silent Hill F is the next mainline entry in Konami's legendary survival horror series, and the first to be set in Japan with music by series veteran Akira Yamaoka. Taking place in the 1960s in the fictional rural town of Ebisugaoka, which is inspired by real-life Kaneyama in the Gifu prefecture, you play as protagonist Hinako Shimizu, a high school student trapped when a sudden fog engulfs her hometown. Red spider lilies, beautiful yet deadly, spread through the streets, warping reality and spawning grotesque monsters. The developers have promised classic Silent Hill DNA, such as puzzle solving, exploration, and that psychological horror will remain central. The combat will be more action-oriented than past entries, but tuned to appeal to both classic fans and newcomers. Silent Hill F will lean heavily into Japanese horror traditions, spiritual dread, social unease and the uncanny, while keeping the series' trademark oppressive mood. Expect striking camera work and symbolic imagery, with the red flowers acting as both a visual motif and a gameplay element. Little Nightmares 3 is the next chapter in Bandai Namco's eerie puzzle platform horror series, and for the first time it is being developed by Supermassive Games. Co-op will feature for the first time, play online with a friend or solo with an AI companion. 2 new characters, Lo, armed with a bow, and Alone, wielding a wrench, are trapped in the Spiral, a cluster of disturbing, dreamlike locations within the Nowhere. They must work together to escape a looming, mysterious threat. Expect the signature Little Nightmares tone, surreal, oppressive, and unsettling, blending childhood fears with grotesque, oversized worlds, as well as those environmental puzzles that see you having to sneak through hidden passages, boost each other over obstacles, and use your tools creatively to progress. You'll encounter plenty of hostile inhabitants. Each area is home to bizarre, dangerous beings that will hunt you down. I can't wait to see how the Dark Pictures Anthology studio brings its unique brand of chills and thrills to the series. Directive 8020 is an upcoming survival horror video game developed by Supermassive Games, known for their cinematic and choice-driven storytelling. It is the first installment of Season 2 in the Dark Pictures Anthology and the 5th game overall in the series. Expect sci-fi survival horror with interactive drama elements. The game is based around a colony ship called Cassiopeia, which crash lands on Tai Ceti F, a planet 12 light-years from Earth. In the world of Directive 8020, Earth is dying, and humanity's last hope lies in colonizing Tau Ceti F. But the crew soon discovers they're not alone. An alien organism capable of mimicking its prey begins hunting them. The crew must survive and make impossible choices, including risking Earth's future to save themselves. If you're into tense decision-making, eerie sci-fi settings, and branching narratives, this one's shaping up to be a thrilling ride. Halloween the Game is an upcoming, asymmetrical stealth horror video game based on John Carpenter's iconic 1978 slasher film Halloween. Developed by iPhonic, the studio behind Friday the 13th the game and Predator Hunting Grounds, it is set to release sometime in 2026. You get to step into the eerie town of Haddonfield on Halloween night, 1978, the night he came home. Players either become the infamous killer, Michael Myers, or play as civilians trying to survive his relentless pursuit. Interestingly, the game will feature a single-player story mode where you can experience the horror from Michael Myers' perspective, staying true to the original film's events. Of course, there'll be the classic 1 vs 4 multiplayer mode, in which one player controls Michael Myers, while 4 others play as townsfolk trying to warn residents, call for help and escape. The game is described as a stealth-based horror with dynamic environments, NPCs, and strategic survival mechanics. As Michael Myers, you must use shadows, stealth, and a terrifying arsenal of abilities to stalk and eliminate enemies. Expect a faithful recreation of Haddonfield with haunting music and visuals inspired by the original film. Better yet, legendary director John Carpenter is directly involved in the project, ensuring authenticity. Talking of John Carpenter, Toxic Commando promises to be a high-octane, co-op first-person shooter developed by Saber Interactive and inspired by the legendary horror filmmaker John Carpenter. It is a love letter to 1980s horror and action cinema, packed with undead mayhem, over-the-top weaponry, and a healthy dose of campy humor. The game is set in a near-future Earth, plagued by a failed energy experiment that unleashes the Sludge God, turning the world into a toxic wasteland, filled with grotesque monsters. You play as part of the Toxic Commando squad, mercenaries hired to clean up the mess. Armed with guns, grenades, and even off-road vehicles, you'll blast through hordes of infected creatures in open-world missions. Toxic Commando allows you to team up with friends to complete objectives and survive massive waves of enemies. You can explore freely, take on side missions, and scavenge for loot before triggering major firefights. Drive armed Humvees, ambulances, and other vehicles to mow down zombies or support your squad. Choose from roles like Operator, Medic, Defender, and Strike, each with unique abilities. Built on Saber's tech from World War Z, which allows for hundreds of enemies on screen at once. Think Left 4 Dead meets Mad Max with Carpenter's signature horror flair. Tentacle monstrosities, glowing-eyed ghouls, and explosive B-movie bravado. OD is an upcoming video game from Kojima Productions, helmed by the legendary game designer Hideo Kojima in collaboration with Xbox Game Studios. It was officially revealed at the Game Awards 2023. Kojima describes OD, or Overdose, as a game that explores the concept of fear, not just jump scares, but the psychological and emotional dimensions of terror. The game will utilize cloud-powered technology, built using Microsoft's cloud infrastructure, suggesting innovative mechanics that go beyond traditional console capabilities. Kojima has stated that OD is not just a game, it is also a new form of media. He's aiming to blur the lines between gaming, film and interactive storytelling. Think of it as part horror experience, part cinematic experiment. Tormented Souls 2 is the chilling sequel to the cult classic survival horror game Tormented Souls from 2021. Developed by Dual Effect and published by P-Cube, it continues the story of Caroline Walker, plunging players into another twisted nightmare filled with grotesque creatures, eerie environments, and mind-bending puzzles. After surviving the horrors of Wild Badger Hospital, Caroline hopes for a peaceful life with her sister Anna, but tranquility is short-lived. Anna begins suffering from a mysterious illness, coughing up black blood and creating disturbing drawings that manifest into reality. Caroline's search for answers leads to the remote town of Villa Hesse in southern Chile, where a sinister clinic hides a dark secret and a cult with terrifying intentions. Inspired by Resident Evil, Silent Hill and Alone in the Dark with fixed camera angles and atmospheric tension, you can switch between alternate realities, reshape the past to alter the present, and uncover hidden paths. Use tools like nail guns and chainsaws to fight off monstrous enemies. Traverse haunting locations, including a shadowy convent, abandoned school, and derelict shopping mall. Solve intricate puzzles that blend logic, lore, and environmental storytelling. Alien Isolation 2 is the newly confirmed sequel to the critically acclaimed survival horror game Alien Isolation from 2014, which was developed by Creative Assembly. Announced on the original game's 10-year anniversary, the sequel is currently in early development, and while the details are scarce, fans are buzzing with anticipation. While plot details haven't been shared, the ending of the first game left room for a continuation. Amanda Ripley, daughter of Ellen Ripley, was last seen drifting in space after surviving the Sevastopol station. Fans speculate the sequel may pick up with Amanda being rescued or encountering new threats in deep space. There you have it. That was 10 up-and-coming horror video games releasing in 2025 and beyond that you need to know about. Which game are you most excited to play? Or is there a game that didn't make the list that other people should know about? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching. Be on the lookout for part 2.